Hey there, rock stars. I just saw the amazing superhero romp that is Avengers Endgame. It was a crazy ride, man. It was wild. No real danger of spoilers in this video, but in the middle of the superhero tights, the galactic throwdowns, and the just epic superhero team-ups were the 6 Infinity Stones. These MacGuffins have been toted around through the Marvel MCU for years now as the major plot devices in a number of different Marvel movies, really making their culmination in the last two Avenger movies, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Last two. Each of the 6 stones, which were referred to in the comics as gems, so you know, a little bit of tidbit there, each control one piece of the fundamental force of the universe, granting whoever wields it untold and uncontrollable power. It's pretty wild. It's pretty crazy. Space, mind, reality, space, time, reality, power, space, mind, reality, power, time, and soul? What? Okay, so these are definitely from comic book fiction. But these multicolored gems do have really fascinating parallels to actual stones and gems here on Earth. I kind of want to find out which real-life stones here on Earth could best fit and best match the Infinity Stones told about in these comics and in the movies in the MCU there, which is super cool. So let's jump in and check it out. Get your Infinity Gauntlets on, rock stars, because we're gonna go gem hunting. Haha! Each of the 6 Infinity Stones has its own specific color, unique to that stone. In the original comics, as another little side note, the colors were actually totally different than what they were in the movies. They were switched and changed for stylistic reasons. Whatever, it's the movies for you. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to try and identify the best fit based off of the colors and attributes used for the Marvel movies, also known as the MCU Marvel canon. So I'm going to be basing it primarily off of that. Now, color is a very interesting property that can tell us a lot about what that mineral, crystal, or elemental universe gem actually is. But it's not always going to be the case. Quartz, for example, is a crystal that can have a number of different colors, almost any color in the rainbow, based off of what kinds of elemental inclusions, different kinds of elements, are in its crystal lattice. The actual different inclusions in there give it its color, but it's all going to be quartz. So there are likely multiple colored stones that match and fit with the infinity varieties. Let's just go through a few of my favorites. First is the blue space stone. There are a number of crystal varieties that fit, that could match with a blue gem. The most notable one that first comes to mind is, of course, sapphire, which is just a blue variety of the mineral corundum. Now, this is very much a gem, but it doesn't quite fit. For this one, I really wanted to find a real-life crystal or mineral that matches the movies a little closer, a little better. And since the Space Stone was housed in the Tesseract, that cube, the blue cube object that kind of held its powers, I wanted to find a crystal that had a cubic configuration and was also blue. Now this severely limits our playing field here, really lowers things down to 3 potential minerals: diamond, halite, and fluorite. Believe it or not, diamond's uncut form can in some cases look like a cube, and with the right impurities you can get blue diamonds. So that's not too far off from a blue cube diamond or a blue cube crystal. Halite is the same. Halite readily forms cubes as its crystal structure, and with the right impurities can appear blue. But the real contender, the real frontrunner in my mind, is fluorite. That's right, fluorite can form cubes, and with the right impurities looks almost exactly like the Tesseract, which is too cool. Look at that. That's awesome. Next up is the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone is a yellow stone, and just based off of that alone, it has a lot of potential contenders. The shape isn't really well defined in the universe, but there is one thing that really sets it apart, and that is a little bit of MCU trivia, a little bit of something that happened from in the movies that not a lot of people noticed. In the earlier movies, the first Avengers movie, the Mind Stone was blue, was actually in Loki's scepter as a blue gem, and in Age of Ultron changed color to yellow. Now this was a stylistic choice to better match the character designs for Loki and then later Vision, because yellow just better fit the costume. Why the hell not? But this provides a very interesting piece of evidence as to what the Mind Stone could potentially be, because there are minerals and crystals that change color, that actually based off of the light source can change from one color to another. Now that again severely limits our options to just a few potential minerals and crystals and gems that could be the Mind Stone. And those potential contenders are garnet, sapphires, and again fluorite. Fluorite coming back into the mix. Now, while I couldn't find a specific instance of a blue to yellow transition color changing form of any of those minerals, what I did find is that sapphire doesn't always have to be blue. It can come in a number of different colors, yellow being one of them. So if the conditions were right and you had a blue sapphire that could change color to a yellow sapphire in different lighting conditions, it would be almost identical to the situation with the Mind Stone. We kind of switched colors there over a couple different movies. Next is the Reality Stone. This really strange stone was really mostly a liquid, wibbly, wobbly ether for most of its time in the MCU, specifically the worst Thor movie that was ever made. And so that really makes pinning down a potential crystalline solid really difficult, because there's not a lot of them that can be a liquid and a solid at the same time. The closest fit is an element called gallium. Gallium, which is a solid at room temperature, but if you hold it with your hands, the heat from your hands will actually melt that mineral down into a little puddle, which is really, really cool. It's super cool. It's a element that melts just higher than room temperature, which is super crazy. So it can exist as both a liquid and a solid very easily. So I couldn't find any red gems and minerals that had such a low melting point. But I do have some real good red contenders and just really awesome gems and minerals. There are rubies, which are actually just a red version of corundum, which is the same exact mineral as sapphires. So they're the same thing, they just have different colors. We also have garnets and spinels as some really solid red options there. They just can't turn into a liquid aether death machine. It's a pretty good band name. Anyway, next up is the Power Stone. This purple powerhouse packs a punch. With the plethora of potential picks, I had to go with the most pertinent party. The most pertinent party, I don't know. And that would be amethyst. This purple variety of quartz is a personal favorite of mine, so I had to put it in. I had to pick it as the clear contender for Power Stone. Next up is the Time Stone. Woo! And this time-bending green stone actually has a number of surprising parallels to actual rocks here. The obvious choices are, of course, very common green gems that you might think of. Gems like emerald, peridot and tourmaline. These are all classic choices, but I can go deeper into some potentials here. Sapphires and rubies have been used for a long time as actual components of watches, inside watches. They actually help work as bearings for a lot of the mechanical components. That makes sapphires and rubies literal time stones. And considering that sapphires can come in green, you can have a green sapphire as a literal time stone. Haha, which is pretty cool. But it goes even deeper. Turns out that scientists in Yale have actually discovered small little crystal inclusions in other crystals that they refer to as time stones or time crystals. Now, these rocks aren't necessarily going to be transporting anyone back in time anytime soon. Basically, these minuscule crystals are made up of atoms that spin or tick at regular intervals. Scientists have just recently discovered that these even exist. So there is a whole new world that has just opened up for time stones, which actually Doctor Strange, eat your heart out. Now, the last stone, but not the least stone, is the Soul Stone. This orange stone has a number of gem quality corollaries, orange sapphires, garnets, other kinds of similar minerals like that. But I think that we could do a little better. I think that there is an actual gem out there that actually has the power of trapping souls. While not technically a stone, amber is considered a gem quality substance, even though it is just tree resin that has been fossilized for, in some cases, millions of years. And this is really, really cool stuff. It fossilizes and has this wonderful, brilliant orange color to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. But in some instances, amber, when it forms, can trap insects and small animals inside, encasing their souls and fossilizing them for eternity. That's not a soul stone, then I really don't know what is. Thanos, eat your heart out. So there you have it, rock stars. That is my take on real life infinity stones and kind of the potential that and reality behind some of the Marvel Universe fiction. Let me know if you like this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have your own theory about what a real life infinity stone might be, or if you've seen or held one yourself. Just don't hold on for too long now. I do just want to say thank you so much to all my followers. We have reached the 100 sub milestone, and I could not be more excited. It was so cool. I have an awesome thank you video planned, so just keep your eyes out for that coming next week. It's gonna be smashing. But anyway, and if you haven't already, remember to smash that subscribe button. Catch you next time.